Before we get on with today's video, I want to thank and appreciate all of you guys who have been watching the previous episodes of the Gembu vlogs. Quite frankly, I had a lot of fun making those videos and I hope you guys have been enjoying watching them as well. So obviously, since the videos on Gembu Mambilla Plateau started to drop, a lot of you have been interested in visiting and exploring Gembu. So today, I thought twice to do a complete guide and cost breakdown video for all that there is to know about visiting and exploring Gembu, starting with transportation. So in my own case, I journeyed by road in a public bus from Abuja to Jalingo, which took 12 hours, and then I continued the journey the next day from Jalingo to Gembu, which took another 8 hours. But of course, if you decide to do all of this in a private car, then it is going to be a lot faster and a lot more convenient because, you know, private car. Very important to note is that if you do decide to embark on this journey in a public bus like I did, bear in mind that these buses are rough, they're usually very packed to capacity, so there's absolutely no reason for you to dress all fancy. Just dress accordingly and pack your bags to fit accordingly. And obviously, for those who can stand long hours on the road, there's also an option of you flying down from Abuja to Jalingo or from wherever you are to Jalingo. But the situation with that is that I'm not sure there are so many airlines who have flights down to Jalingo. So your second option would be to fly from wherever you are to Adamawa. But then even after getting to Adamawa, you still have about 8 to 10 hours road trip to get to Gembu. And it could actually be longer depending on the situation of the road. But then good thing is that you're already in Taraba State, and then all you have to do is to journey down to Gembu. And then this brings me to my next point, which is safety on the road. Now, from Abuja to Gembu, the route will usually go like this: from Abuja to Kefi Nasarawa State, and then from Kefi Nasarawa State to Benue Makurdi, which you now have to cross a river. Obviously, this is what everybody does because crossing that river cuts the journey short by 1 hour. I hope you guys have seen that vlog where I showed the river crossing situation with the bus. I'll link it somewhere up here or in the description so you guys can catch up on that. And then after crossing the river, you get into the bordering village of Taraba State, and then the journey continues up until you get to Jalingo. And then from Jalingo, you continue your journey to Gembu, which obviously by now, you guys know that will be a journey for the next day. Generally, throughout the journey, the roads are half as good and half as bad. And also, I don't think there was any major security issue or concern around the time that I traveled. However, you are going to come across a lot of security checkpoints, including the army, police, immigration, especially when you're in Taraba State headed for Gembu. So bear in mind that the same road that leads to Gembu is the same one that leads to the Nigerian-Cameroon border. So there's a heavy presence of immigration on the road where they literally stop cars and ask people to present their ID cards. Guys, this is really serious, as such that even when you get to Gembu, especially as a tourist, you're still going to get the same questions from the high-level presence of the military officials that are there. So to avoid any form of embarrassment, harassment, or even at the very worst ending up in possible detention, make sure to hold a valid ID card. So something else to note on the road while approaching Gembu is the snaky mountain road the moment you start climbing the plateau. It might really be scary for a first timer, but again, you are most likely to be carried away by the breathtaking views of the Mambilla Plateau, so I'm sure you would not feel it as much. One thing you are definitely going to feel though is the change in temperature because it gets colder as you go higher in elevation. And then another thing is altitude sickness, which is very similar to what you experience when you fly in an airplane. So here is my total cost breakdown from Abuja to Gembu. Abuja to Jalingo cost me 4,550 naira. I spent another 5,000 naira to pass a night at a guest house, and then Jalingo to Gembu cost me 2,500 naira. So my total cost expense for getting to Abuja to Gembu, of course excluding feeding and other miscellaneous on the road, is 12,050 naira. But then again, just to mention, this could be totally different depending on how you choose to travel. This is just to give you guys an idea, and especially if you're going to be going kind of like the same way that I did. So just for some extra details, it was at the Maraba bus park I got the bus for Jalingo from Abuja, and then at the Jalingo bus park the next day I entered a certain AJ Dan Pillow bus from Jalingo to Gembu. If you guys want more details as to how to get to the bus station or a particular contact at the Jalingo bus park, just drop a comment in the comment section. I'll make sure to get to you. So to my next pointer, which is hotels, I think throughout my stay in Gembu, I came across 3 hotels or guest houses, including the one that I stayed at, which is totally the one that I recommend, by the way. The name of the hotel is Gechan. It is centrally located. It has 24/7 electricity. It has hot water running. It kind of like has this hostel vibe going on, which I really think it adds to the experience of being in a place like Gembu. At the very base level, the hotel costs 5,500 per night, which comes with breakfast, and I just think that is super cool. Also, there are a couple of young guys who work at the hotel, which I found out that they were core members, so it was really cool to like talk and just make friends with them. Again, if you need a contact for this hotel, just make sure to leave a comment in the comment section. I'll definitely make sure to get to you. Alright, moving on. So where to eat and what to eat. Okay, like I said, the hotel that I stayed at, Gechan, had a restaurant and they have food selling for as low as 500 and upwards. But then if you're looking to indulge in some local delicacies like kumbi and corn food, which by the way, kumbi is a kind of vegetable and corn food is made from corn, or even red beans, which turns out to be my favorite thing while I was in Gembu all through. There are some local restaurants that you can hit for as low as 250 naira or even 300 naira. But of course, that would also depend on the kind of things that your stomach can take. But for someone like me who just like to connect with culture, connect with lifestyle and everything, I wasn't eating as much in the hotel, so I was really going out and trying as much local food as I could find. Guys, trust me, I totally recommend corn food and kumbi. Whenever you find yourself in this part, make sure to try it. It is really, really, really good. Just, I mean, look at this now.
Energy given photo.
You'll also find some colorful and popular soft drinks around, which are actually made in Cameroon. And if you're looking to indulge in some beer, palm wine, there are also some local pubs around. But I believe for palm wine, you will enjoy it more when you explore, the villages and the mountain sides of the Mambilla Plateau. Something similar to what I experienced in one of the Gembu vlogs. I hope you guys have seen that by now. They are all linked in the description below or somewhere here. Gembu is also a very rich agricultural town with some unique fruits and vegetables that only grow here, like the Chinese apple and the white carrots. Other common fruit that you can really enjoy for cheap are also bananas and avocados. There are probably going to be more, but I think those are the most common ones I found during my stay here. 50 naira. Trust me, look how fresh they are. What are the things that we can do in Gembu? Well, sorry to break it to you, there are so many things that it is you can do in Gembu. Like being in Gembu alone is an experience on its own because of the fascinating landscape and the weather. I mean, look at this weather, is freaking amazing. It's like a Canadian weather or something.
No food for lazy man. We're up today. We are up again this morning. Country, man! Country!
A couple of activities you can do in Gembu: hike to the mountain sites and go on sightseeing, visit waterfalls, explore the rivers and the lakes, go on the trip to the tea farm and watch them harvest plants for tea. You can also venture into the tea factory to watch them actually process the plants into actual tea, engage in a local cultural activity like the one I did in Bank Village, take a trip to a ranch and learn about sustainable ranching. I can personally link you up with a friend who their family has a very gigantic ranch, so you can learn about ranching. The things to pack for this trip: obviously your jacket, your head warmers, your gloves, your socks for the cold weather, your glasses for the sun because especially during the dry season the dust is really crazy. Pack your snacks, your biscuits, your chocolate bars, cereals, just anything to make you comfortable on the trip, especially if you know that you're not going to be engaging in so much, local food. Also very important, a water bottle so you can stay hydrated for when you're going on hikes or maybe when you're simply just going around exploring the town and villages. Pack small medications like paracetamol, flagyl, ibuprofen, glucose, just about any medication that you feel the need. And don't worry about mosquito net and repellents because there are hardly ever any mosquitoes in the Mambilla Plateau. It's actually one of the few places in Nigeria where there are no mosquitoes really. Also, not to forget, get proper hiking shoes like Timberland and Skechers. The terrains are quite, rugged, so soft shoes are definitely going to give out easily. Yeah, for content creators like myself, don't forget pack extra memory cards, batteries. You're definitely going to be needing them. So on a general note, travel with cash if you can. There's only one ATM point in Gembu town, and as you would imagine, there's always going to be a queue. And as a tourist, you don't want to be stranded. And talking about stranded brings me to my next point: network. The network that works the best for internet is Airtel and then MTN for calls. But bear in mind that network in the Mambilla Plateau is quite below average. And even when you travel deeper to some of the villages, you are totally off the grid. There are no connections at all. So yeah, just to reiterate, as I am sure I have mentioned in the previous Gembu vlogs, Gembu is a very interesting and fascinating place, and the best thing about this place is actually the people. They are super nice, warm, welcoming, and everybody is happy to have you explore their town. If you're ever planning on a trip here, please make sure to do. Trust me, there's absolutely nothing to worry about. Finally, as you can see, I embarked on this trip during the dry season, which is not exactly the most beautiful because obviously the landscapes are not all that lush and green. But again, there are a couple of advantages to the dry season because in my own case, it afforded me the opportunity to be able to wander around different locations. But when you go during the rainy season, of course, it will be a lot more beautiful, but then you might have to deal with the weather condition, which might be a little extreme. It might continue raining for a longer period of time, and you might not just have as much access to move around. But then again, everywhere is just really lush and green. So keep all of this in mind for when you're planning a trip. Alright, so there you guys have it. I think these are some of the most important things to note for when planning a trip to the Mambilla Plateau. If you have any questions or some things that I might have missed during this little talk, please make sure to drop them in the comment section. I'll do well to go through all of them and answer. Also make sure to catch up on the Gembu vlogs. It means a lot to me if you share them. It helps the growth of my channel as well. And there's still a travel film coming on the entire experience I had in Gembu Mambilla Plateau, so you guys make sure to also stay subscribed for that. And finally, thank you guys for watching this video. Share it to help someone plan their next trip to Gembu in the Mambilla Plateau. And of course, I can't wait to see all of you guys in the next video. Peace.